Good. What do y'all want to talk about?
Spring football?
Quarterback. Injuries.
Exactly.
I got a lot of questions for you.
I'm sure you do. All right, well, today's the end of the 2018 class and the beginning, or we may be in the middle of the 19 and the beginning of the 2020 class. So, our staff's done a tremendous job in finishing this class, getting out and building relationships and establishing connections and throughout the entire state and our entire footprint. So proud of the job that they've done. Excited about the kids that we just added to the roster today. And we've got, I think, about 7 of these guys already in this class, already enrolled in school and going to classes and working out with the team. And so today was a nice addition to this group.
Blair, you may not have had time yet to kind of reflect, but curious how the early signing period affected the last 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure how it was going to affect it actually, but in first thought it was going to be a little bit hectic at that time of the year because of everything that's going on. But we were able to get some guys signed, guys that were committed, guys that knew they wanted to come to Carolina. They weren't interested in having any more of the recruiting process. Their families were tired of it, so they wanted to get it done. So that was a good thing, was being able to take care of that. Now, what happens then at that point was I didn't realize the intensity level would just increase on the rest of the kids that was out there. And I mean, it was like the pool was much smaller and everybody was all over those guys. And so, on top of that, the other good part about it was you were able to start focusing in on some of the 2019 guys. So you were able to get to a lot of schools and, talk to a lot of coaches at that time. For the head coaches, I mean, we're not on the road in the spring, so it was almost throwing you back to the first year I became a head coach, where the year before that the head coaches could be out in the spring. Well, I never had that opportunity, so this was the first time I was actually out there talking to high school coaches about the 2019 class.
So do you like having the early signing period and having that one and then of course today being?
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth having. I don't know if I really like the dates that were picked, but you have to deal with it. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on during that time of the year that you're trying to juggle, as a lot of coaches found out, but you just do it. And then, some people finish their whole class during that first that signing period, and they were able to, to turn all their attention to the 19 class during the month of January.
So I'm guessing you'd like it to be sooner. How much sooner?
Well, I would prefer it to happen before the season starts. I would prefer that it be done before you go into August camp. I mean, especially if we were going to have, spring and summer visits, official visits, which we have right now. And I don't really see a need to do that if we're signing in December. So I would much rather push the signing date up to the beginning of August or the 1st of August before we start camp.
Did the early signing day in December kind of take some of the excitement away from today? Or was it just as exciting today as it was when we did it?
I was like 2 Christmas days for us, so, I don't know about nationally or for all of those things publicly, I don't know. But I know, for us, we were excited about the first one, we're excited about the second one. I mean, when you're getting to bring in new student athletes that are going to help your football team, you get excited about it.
When you signed those guys you signed in December, how quickly do they turn into recruiters for you guys to start working on those other guys?
Well, they start doing that once they commit. I mean, you got guys that become very active in the recruiting process, and it depends on their personalities. And some of them don't. But you got quite a few guys that actually start recruiting for their class, and I think that's something that's very important. That if you're able to get one of those alphas to commit early, and he gets on top of the recruiting class, he can really shape the guys that come in around him.
Who was that alpha from your December group?
We had actually quite a few guys that were active in that recruiting process. I mean, guys like the kid for the defensive end up in Virginia did a really good job of talking to guys quite a bit. Jordan Adams was very, very active. One, these guys get around to so many camps, and they meet so many guys, and they build so many relationships throughout their time of being recruited that they already have connections, sometimes better connections than the coaches have.
Larry, a lot of highly rated kids on the offensive side of the ball. Do you anticipate that group being able to provide a boost once camp starts?
Well, you go into every year expecting these kids to come in and contribute to the football team. Now, a lot of that will have to do with their maturity level, and we believe they're there physically, and then whether or not they're going to be there mentally, that's the curve. When they come into camp, are they going to be in the shape, or are they going to be trying to survive? If they're in shape and ready to go, then they can start competing for a job. I'm interested in seeing if they're going to change the red shirt rule and how that's going, if that is going to happen, and give a player 4 games to play during that season. I think that would be a nice thing to happen, because some of these guys aren't ready to play right at the beginning of the year. And as the year goes on, they mature and they get ready to go.
Just finding out, I guess, publicly now,
You can pass that out.
Yep.
We just got our last guy.
yeah.
Right there.
Did you just find out now, or did you find out before you
That's
came
what
in here?
just buzzed.
Okay, because I was just saying, we just found out about Antoine Green.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a different course in that recruitment. Can you kind of take us through when you guys started picking up the pace with him, and what brought him to commit to you guys?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you that Chad Scott was his primary recruiter down there, and did a great job of building a relationship with the family, everybody involved, and got them to come up on a visit in early January, and they had a tremendous time, and it just started snowballing from there. He obviously gained a lot of interest from a lot of people, and we were very fortunate to finish him off today. And I think it was probably just the relationships and the opportunity that he sees here at the University of North Carolina to get a world-class degree and play ball at the highest level.
William Barnes, someone that I think, if I remember correctly, at the end of the freak show, almost committed then, and has sort of wanted to commit for a while, but his dad kind of said, keep your options open, just you don't have to rush into this. How has the ebb and flow been with that, just kind of keeping him at the point where he was when he left the freak show to where he signed this morning?
Well, these guys come to the freak show and they come on this campus, they have an unbelievable time. I mean, they really do. I mean, sometimes I think we take for granted what we have here, but they come in here for their first time or maybe their second time, and they get blown away by it, and so then depending on how many visits they take after that and how far they get away from the situation, you've got to keep that feeling going with all of these guys. And so that's the question that you run into about whether you bring in a guy early in the process or late in the process. And I can tell you, William, I mean, just he did. He loved everything about it, and no matter what in the recruiting process, he would. Carolina was always in his heart.
Speaking of Barnes, I know your recruiting board's probably a little bit different than what's on recruiting sites. But
I got no idea.
But Barnes was a top 50 national guy. He was considered top 10 in the state of Florida. It seems like quite the steal for the program. Can you just kind of walk us through that? And did you know early on that he was that elite of a talent?
We knew he was a heck of a player. I mean, we weren't going to recruit him if he wasn't. But yeah, we were excited about him. That's why we got him here to the freak show, because we thought he was a really good football player, and got him on campus. And the more time we spent with him, the better relationship we built with him and his family. And just found out what kind of people they were and the way he's been raised and everything about him. And he ended up loving this place and wanting to be a Tar Heel. And now today he is.
Got a package deal from Apopka. Got his teammate Ed.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a package deal, but we were fortunate enough to grab both of them, actually. And, Apopka's got a great program down there in Orlando. Rick Darlington's been there for many years, and he's won a lot of football games and done a tremendous job with those guys. And one thing about kids coming out of his program, they know how to win and they know how to work.
You guys missed out on 2 in-state linebackers in this class. Would that be a position of high priority in 2019?
Well, we signed two linebackers in this class, and we went into this recruiting class saying we wanted to sign 2 linebackers. But we're always, in-state guys are always a priority for us, and we're always going to work extremely hard on the guys in the state of North Carolina. We recruited 2 guys in the state in this last signing period. And unfortunately, we just weren't able to get either one of them.
What do you like about Antoine Green, and how will he fit with Jordan Adams and De'Armond Brown?
Yeah, he's a 6'2", maybe a little bit over 6'2", probably about 195 pounds. A guy that can really run. He's a kid that plays up above the rim. I mean, he can really get up in the air. So he's one of those big guys that we like having on the outside. But the thing, he's skilled enough to be able to play inside also. I got a chance to, when I was down there, to go and before we went to the home, be able to go to basketball practice and watch him play basketball. And they've got a really good team. And he can get up and down the court. He's extremely quick. I don't know that he's a great basketball player, but he can get up in the air, rebound, and block shots, and he's very, very athletic.
When did you guys offer Gavin Lewis, and can you kind of take us through, that's a very real recent situation here.
Yeah, that was really, once we hired Tommy Thigpen. Tommy was a guy that had been recruiting Gavin. We really don't go recruit the state of Alabama. But Tommy was recruiting that area and had a relationship with him. And, we knew we wanted to be able to take another defensive tackle or defensive end. And so Tommy, once we looked at the tape and evaluated him, made sure that he was going to be able to handle everything academically, that's when we offered him. And so started recruiting him at that point, get to know the family as much as we could in basically about a 3-week period.
Good segue into my next question is about Tommy, the value in having him on the staff and someone who's one of the most respected recruiters.
Yeah, Tommy's got a great reputation as a great recruiter. We're happy to have him home, and he was anxious, I think, to get back to Carolina and get back to home. And, I'm ecstatic about having him on our staff.
You mentioned earlier about getting the beginnings of the 2020 class. With this particular class you just signed, how critical was building those relationships years in the making to offset maybe any negative recruiting that may have popped up after last year?
Yeah, you're very seldom do you have a situation like a Gavin Lewis where you're just recruiting a kid for 3 weeks. I mean, most of these are 18, 24, 36 months that you've actually been, that you've known about the kid, you've started building a relationship with the kid. So it's a long process, and that enables you to cast a net around a lot of people that surround that young man. And so you're able to get to know parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, coaches, the middle school coach, youth league coach that coached him. You get to know a lot of people in those situations. So, I mean, that's critical. I think anytime you're building relationships, I think it's important to have some time to be able to do that.
With the returning linebacker situation, is the door open maybe for a grad transfer or something else?
I don't know. I mean, just this happened today, with everybody that we finished. So we'll look at it going forward. I don't know where we are scholarship-wise and all those things, but we'll see. I mean, who knows what will happen. If not, we got some guys on this campus that'll step into those roles and they'll play well.
How about moving somebody, like moving Jonathan Sutton back or Kane Roberts or something like that?
Yeah, we have, Kane Roberts he's going to be a linebacker, so it's not that we're moving him back. We just threw him over to help us when we got the injuries last year. So, but he's a linebacker. I mean, as soon as the season was over with, he was right back at linebacker for us. So, and he did that towards the end of the season also. He was working as a linebacker most of the time, and because he had learned what he would need to do if he jumped in there at running back. But I think we've got some guys on this campus that I'm excited to see this spring and see how they develop.
This isn't it's not recruiting related, but how happy were you for Matt Collins, a former walk-on, to win a Super Bowl on Sunday?
Yeah, what a great story. I mean, the guy, first year out of college, and he, he's got a Super Bowl ring on his finger. So I was up in, I guess it was the Monday after they beat the Vikings. I was in Philly recruiting, and so was heading back towards the airport. Got to talk to Mac on the phone. He was like, "Stop by. I'm not that far away." So we stopped in, if you know Mac, he hadn't changed a lick. I mean, he's still riding a bicycle, doesn't have a car. He's still, it's like, well, how do you get groceries? He's like, I don't. I just go to the facility and I eat there and then I bike home, he's a pretty simple guy, that loves playing the game. He really does. And, you know, I was really excited to see him have success this year.
And I guess that serves as a great, he serves as a great ambassador. He can show your kids, like, hey, this guy started at the bottom, and like, look at him now.
Yeah, you know, Mac's theory, and it always has been since he came here, was that he doesn't think that anybody should be given a scholarship. He thinks that everybody ought to have to walk on, and everybody ought to have to earn their, you know, their scholarship. You know, so I would think that probably there aren't many people out there that follow that same philosophy, but that's what he believes.
He didn't make you miss your flight, did he?
No.
He still
Anything
has
else?
a bunch of snakes.
What's
Does he
that?
still have a bunch of
He
snakes?
still has snakes. He didn't bring them downstairs where I was, so.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, it was a real good thing. Yeah, we did talk about, I asked him, because I wanted to know where they were in the house. And, yeah, he said the coach told him not to bring them to the facility either.
One last question that I have. There's still a spot available on your staff? Are you going to announce something soon, or what's the process?
As soon as I have somebody hired, yeah.
Okay,
In the process right now. We've been interviewing guys, and, you know, I think we'll have something in place here pretty soon.
Okay.
Coach, one of the trends in recruiting is a lot of graphics. I was wondering how that's evolved as you've been a head coach at UNC and how active you are in that aspect of it.
That's probably grown faster than anything, actually. I mean, that is very key. I mean, it's, you know, that's what the kids are into now. And so you are constantly pumping out graphics. Our recruiting department did a tremendous job, you know, with this class of being out front and on top of all the graphics out there, because you can't be reacting to everything that's getting out there. You have to be very proactive, and kids don't want to see the same thing. You know, just because Johnny got it from this other school, they want to see something else. And so you're constantly coming up with new ideas, and I think our recruiting department, recruiting staff did a tremendous job with that, and they'll continue to do that going forward because they're already on to the 19 group.
I actually have one more. Did you have
I'm
any
not gonna
input
give you
on,
another.
pardon me?
I'm not going to give you another. You said you only had one.
Well, I mean, I can't
All right,
count very
go
well. The seats, the seating change that's gonna happen here with the seat backs, everything like that. Did you have any input in that? Making that decision?
Realistically, probably not. I mean, you know, they probably asked me but probably didn't care what I had to say about it. But no, I think it's going to be great. I mean, it's going to be great for our fans. It's going to, you know, make their experience at game day much better because they're not all squeezed together, and you know, we got chair back seating. I think the experience will be much better, which will enhance game day. So that's a good thing.
Coach, is there
Thank
a
you for
part of you
answering.
that exhales and you're excited about the fact that now you can focus on spring ball now that the recruiting essentially is over, at least for this class?
This class, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't tell you how many 2019 guys that I have talked to today on the phone. So the only thing we can exhale about is we've got 21 guys now that are signed and added to this class. So that's the thing you can exhale about. But we're well into the 19 group. I mean, there is no, you know, it used to be, I'll tell you, it used to be you finished on signing day and you took a week and you relaxed and, you know, everybody celebrated and it was like, oh man, okay, now let's kind of get going into, you don't have that ability anymore. I mean, especially with the early signing day, I mean, you were immediately starting on the 19 class at that point after that signing day on the 20th or whatever that day was. I mean, you really were focusing because you knew didn't have many to sign in at the next signing day. So you spent a lot of time evaluating on the 19 class and getting out to see those coaches.
All right, thanks, folks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Coach.